So good evening everyone and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're down in the Beer Cellar studio here at Full Speed Events, and we have had a rather busy day, as I'm sure lots of you have, because there's been a massive update on Swift and a big reboot for a lot of people, particularly those running on Windows. So we've been rather busy making sure everything still meshes together and we can bring you the show tonight. Now we have a incredibly fast route. This is one of our longest routes that we use on the Chaingang, but it's also one of the fastest routes on the Chaingang, and we've got lots of riders already down to ride, but we're going to see how many of those make it through that reboot and onto the start line down in Watopia for the second of the Watopia weeks rides here in Swift, and of course all brought to you on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. Now we have had, as we've said, a busy week, and we've got a bit more yet to come on the Donny Chaingang, with tomorrow evening the Grab a Drink with Dean Downing. So the one and only Dean Downing, head coach at Downing Cycling, a former national champion, is with us. Join us on Zoom. You can get the details on the Facebook page, so make sure you log on there. If you're a member of the DCG gang, get extra discount on top as well. So please, guys, make sure you come and join us, and we do have a limited number of tickets left still on that. We'd like to sell that out if we can. Remember, of course, members of the DCG gang get free if you're on the Facebook page, 50% discount on that as well. So let's go to tonight's ride, Thursday night, and traditionally it's been a flat route, and it is incredibly flat. One man who is trying to raise himself up off the ground and up into the sky is the man who's currently busy spending half his time training, and I think the other half of the time attempting to build his very own V2 pain cave at home. It is Russ Downing. So Russ, how are you doing?
Hey mate, I'm alright, and you?
I'm really good, mate. I'm really good, and it's good to have you back with us. Hopefully, nice and loud over there. And how's the paint game going for those who haven't seen on Facebook?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we'll be fully bricked up tomorrow up to the roof line, top of the doors, and then let it settle over the weekend, and then put the roof on it next week. So should be good.
Yeah, it's looking good already, and it's been a little bit damp this week, but looks like we've got a bit of a dry evening out there. That might impact the numbers tonight, and it's definitely going to be dry in the desert, isn't it?
Oh, bone dry. And pretty tasty, 56k. Should be good, we should zap along at a good 45k an hour, so just over an hour for the front smashers, or whatever we're going to call them.
Yeah, definitely going to be about an hour or so, and it is a fast lap on the way round. Our bus driver tonight is going to be Mike Killingsworth, and Mike's been a regular on the Chaingang since day one, basically, hasn't he?
Yeah, he came on early days and he's been improving. He even got a few little warnings the last few weeks. He's been going that well, tapping up the front and making everyone play under nines football. So, yeah, it'd be good to have him out the back under wraps tonight. Yeah,
definitely. And a quick reminder, obviously, if people are watching live, the aim is to stay. It's all pile on Russ, basically, like you used to do at school. Pile on the little fella and stay with Russ until that go, at which point it's going to get incredibly quick. And key for tonight is to have a fast, flat bike, but also something that is going to allow you to stay in the wheels, because if you lose a wheel tonight, people are going to be in trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, it's even more so when it's that quick. It just goes straight out the back, and it's game over. So, yeah, you've just got to concentrate. There's no little drags to sort of lose on. There's some 1%ers, and that's about it, but you've just got to be on it and stay focused.
Well, let's see if people are going to stay focused. We're going to let you get those tunes turned up and head into the World of Swift, and hopefully catch up with you in a little bit, Russ.
Cheers, mate.
So good to catch up with Russ, the man who's been busy at building his play. If you want to see the pictures, make sure you go onto Facebook or Instagram. Give Russ a follow. Don't forget that is Russ Downing. And make sure you follow Downing Cycling as well. You can always give me a follow. You never know what you'll see on there. And my name's Matt Payne. It's Matt Fixer Payne on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Strava, Zwift Power, you name it, it's all on there. And one day, yes, I will tell you the story of why it's Fixer, but that will take a long time and probably more Zoom time than we've already booked for this year. Now, we are going into Watopia and we're heading out and around the Tempus Fugit circuit. Now, we last used this circuit as part of Veloskin Week, and it's definitely one which means that you need to have a very comfortable seat in the saddle, because you're not going to get out of the saddle basically anywhere on this, except for maybe the final sprint. As Russ has already said, 1 or 2 1% rises, but we are heading out and around. You get to see people everywhere. Now, this is a tricky one to commentate on and to follow if you're following as we are, basically remotely, because riders will be coming in both directions at once, and the companion apps and the technology will mix the two together, so you'll only get the 100 nearest riders. That doesn't matter whether they're going the same way or in opposite directions. So apologies now for missing going over the finish line. We've got a fast circuit. It's going to be big bunch sprints, so good luck to everybody keeping it together. Ideally, try and stay on the same side of the course all at once to make my life a bit easier, but let's see whether that's going to be possible. Let's show you, courtesy of Zwift Hacks and Zwift Insider, the map. Now, this is the course. It is really quite straightforward. Once we do our 2.4k lead-in, that's the red section from the chevrons at the top on to circuit, is essentially one section of road that winds its way through the deserts, past the lake and in to the town at the other end, where there's the turnaround. So we make our way in, a slight rise through the lakeside, a drop, and then a slight rise in to the turn at the end, where we go round and we head back in the reverse direction once again, go round the turn at the top. Now, this isn't a turn in the road like the old school TT, it's a loop round, and then we finish at the rock arch. Now, there are 3 full laps. That should take us to about 54.2k. And 55.2k should be the total distance. That means once we've got it done, 56k will take us out of the end of the circuit. Let's see if we get the distances right. Let's see how we go. Remember, this is basically pancake flat. 16 meters of climbing per lap, and this is going to be fast and furious. Now, if we jump across to the Velo Viewer profile, as you can see, this is at the same scale as all of the rest of the profiles. We keep the scale the same in terms of the height, and that is quite simply so you get a really good indication of how flat this is, and it is absolutely pancake flat. There is a slight rise as we go through the lakes. So on the far right hand side, you see that slight thickening of the route, and a slight rise as you come in towards the lower turn, but basically essentially super flat. And remember, guys, it's about staying on the wheels. If you are about to lose a wheel, you need to bust a gut to get on it, because if that gap goes, you will not get it back. Doesn't matter who you are, how fast you're going, how much you've been weight doping, how much ice cream you've eaten. Doesn't make any odds. You need to make sure that you stay on those wheels, guys. Once you've gone, find a group and ride on. That is what the Chaingang is all about. And remember, Russ will be calling the pace. We're going to have a nice steady rollout. We're going to do lap 1 about 2.5. Lap 2 is going to be near a 3 watts per kilo. The go will happen at some point, in which case all bets are off, and that is when it's going to be flying. Now, it is going to be really interesting who is going to take it. Now, we do say that riders are better on their birthday. One man who has now completed 4 decades is Ozzy Osbourne, Russ Osbourne is with us, and unfortunately saddled with the same name as the bear, but managing to make it to his into his 40th birthday. Happy birthday, mate, and happy birthday to everybody who is on their birthday rise. We will see how riders get on. Now, we have plenty of riders in there. Now, it's looking to me like Andy Hawes has inherited the red beacon once again. So it looks like Horsey has been slammed up to be in the red beacon, and once again that's not the nicest of things to happen to Andy after the last one. So we will see what Russ chooses to do with that. It looks like Mike Killingsworth might be getting a night off being on the beacon. It might be that the pair of them will team up to work together as red beacon, because it's always strength in depth, and as we say, that's the way to keep everybody in there. And Andy is saying he's happy to be red again, so thank you very much, Andy, and hopefully he'll get some assistance from the stronger riders on the way through. So remember the profile, pancake flat, remember the route. Down, warm up, coming in at 2 watts per kilo, first lap 2.5, second lap around about the 3 watts per kilo, and then you are going to be into that go, and that's where we see just how fast that's going to be. So our riders are now lining up. The clock is ticking. You can see the board is up there, and it looks like Mike Killingsworth is going to be sitting at the back with Andy Hawes. That's fantastic stuff. And remember, the red beacon, also known as the party bus, and the reason it's known as the party bus is because there's always something served. I'm not quite sure what Andy has got ready to go. He may well have an Italian thing with some Prosecco, because of course we're heading into the Giro week. So riders up and underway, and let's see if we can jump in with our beacon. In with Russ down in. Now let's pull you up the head-up display. For those people who've not seen before, we have the option to give you the head-up display, and what this allows us to see is Russ's stats, so who we're following at the moment, as it says across the middle of your screen. Now up in the top corner up there is 129 watts at the moment in that blue box, just dropping down and going up. That is Russ responding to get the pace right, to get the right watts per kilo. So that is how many watts he generated. It also tells you that at the moment he's doing 100 revs per minute and currently has 83, as his heart rate currently gone up to 84, 85 and climbing, oddly enough, as he's riding. In the middle of the screen, right up at the top, so dead centre at the top, is the distance, the speed. So he's currently covering the ground at 34 kilometres an hour. It's covered 0.3 kilometres, 0 metres of climbing, and of course we're going down for 46 seconds. The whole 46 seconds is going to tick on. Right hand corner, right over the far side, so basically the duplicate where the full speed events logo is, but on the next screen over, you can see we have the map. Now our map is currently in 3D mode. You'll see in the top right hand corner of the map it shows it's at 1% ascent at the moment. We can flick to a 2D map and we can zoom out to give a little bit more detail to see where everybody is. Down the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see there is a nice list of names running right the way down the side. Now, that is the names of the riders nearest to Russ. Russ is in there highlighted in blue, and that tells us he's currently doing 2.12 watts per kilo. It tells us he's covered 0.8k. It tells us he's professional and accredited cycling because he has the the orange tick next to his name, and he's in fact a Zwift ambassador. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, if you look at the screen itself, what we are going to do, we're going to go up above Russ and zoom in on him because he's in the Downing Cycling kit in there. So you can see that's the grey kit in there, and the little logo matches this logo, the Downing Cycling logo, and currently keeping nice one because the beer cellar at the moment is cold compared to outside. One of the advantages is nice stable temperatures, but doesn't mean my thermostat works that way, that's for sure. So Russ at the moment on the Pinarello, and looks like he's sat nicely in that group, and hopefully the whole of the pack together. You just see Andy Hawes at the back as well. So let's dive in here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, and bring you all of the action from out on the roads on the Chaingang. So we're live here in the studio, looking down on our riders on the Donny Chaingang. Our two beacons sat at the back, one or two riders just with tech issues at the back, and that's one of the reasons we have the steady start to allow riders to make their way in and on to the group. But looks like pretty much everybody's on. We're just taking a hunt through the numbers behind, and pretty much most people sitting in with the beacon, not too many people being distanced. Remember, of course, that we're only going to see 100 riders on the screen at one time. So with 100 riders on the screen at one time, it's all about paying attention to the map on the top for our riders as they go underneath the arch. Now this arch, as our riders go in and underneath it, you can see the line on the floor there. That is our start finish line of the lap proper. So we have 3 full laps to go at the moment, and our riders riding nice and smoothly through. And looks like Andy Hawes and Mike Killingsworth just sitting near the back. Looks like Russ just having a little bit of a technical issue there, just dropped off the back of the group at the moment. So just going to keep an eye. It looks like he's just dropped out. He should be hopefully dropping back in again. Let's see what happens with the tech. It's going to be really interesting to see who's inherited that yellow beacon role. Looks like Russ is back in that group again. Always entertaining when that happens, so it gives me and Russ a number of heart attacks on the way through, that is for sure. It looks like everybody back in together again, and lots of our regulars back in the Chain Gang. Don't forget, of course, you can join the DCG gang. That's the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, and that is how we keep the show on the road. And very pleased to say that the man in the red beacons role tonight, that is Andy Hawes, is one of our regular riders. And good to see Mike Killingsworth in there as well. Both these are regular riders on the Chain Gang, regulars on the Facebook page, and they know the score. They know exactly how to look after the riders and play the game exactly how it was intended. Andy, of course, the Assos rider on the Pinarello Ambassador, currently sporting a very nice red and black Pinarello on deep rims as well. And looks like they're just starting to pick a few riders up around that area. And just seeing Darrell Waller just dropping off the back of that group, and not surprised to see that. Just going to keep an eye on these riders. So looks like it is going to be our man from the Army Trace, the race off road. It's Phillips just keeping company with Andy on the back of that group. Mike Killingsworth is the rider with that blue version of the GB flag. Looks like Miss Cookie is in on the action in that blue digital camo jersey. Always happy to book a seat on the bus is Miss Cookie. And just seeing her pushing in to the back of the pack, but you cannot let the gaps go. And just seeing a few people drifting and letting the gaps open up, and that is a very dangerous thing to do. And just keeping an eye. Looks like Craig Herring just dropping back a little bit at the moment. Needs to get those fins into a little bit faster action at the moment. Herring just dropping in with Andy Hawes at the moment. Looks like Booth in with that group. But these gaps are very, very dangerous indeed, because if they continue to open, you will find riders having to force the pace to close those gaps. So just keeping a check on the tape. Looks like a few glitches jumping in and out. As we said on the introduction, there have been a number of people having to do massive reboots, including ourselves, with the processing power that we have here in the studio. And looks to me like Karen just giving Andy a little bit of a helping hand there to keep that group moving. And looks like one or two riders just drifting back a little bit here. Now, if they don't close the gap fast, they are going to lose the pace. And I think the bus in danger of not getting back on here, and just going to have a little look. Looks like Raccoon, Darrell Waller and Herring are just in front, and that is very dangerous at the moment. So Raccoon just dropping into the bus, and I suspect the bus is going to form, and it will not catch the back of the group if it's not careful. It's incredibly quick out on the course. And just keeping a check on the riders here. Looks to me as we go into the tunnels that these riders have got this pretty much dialed, the yellow and the red beacon in the group. Nobody taking a flyer off the front, always a dangerous thing to do. The pace being set, of course, by Russ Downing, former national champion, rider of the Giro, a rider of professional races for a long time, and a Zwift rider since 2015, and myself and Russ lucky enough to be in the world of Zwift when we had Watopia, and only a few courses in Watopia, and that was always a very limiting factor of Zwift initially, that you only had a few courses, but they soon got that dialed. Now, as you can see at the back of the riders, one of the things that hasn't changed with this is you get 100 riders. Now, there are riders between our red beacon and the back of that group. What you can't see is those riders, and that's because the nearest 100 riders to our rider we are focused in on at the moment, and that rider is Daryl Tattershaw-Waller, one of our winners in the giveaways as part of the DCG gang. The nearest 100 riders are the riders that you've got on your screen, and there are more than 100 riders in the pack today, once again still in triple figures on the Donny Chaingang, and that takes its toll. Now we are on one of those that rises up and then drops down. We're going through the lakes, so we're now dropping down, out and away. Plenty of chat on the message boards that we don't see until it goes back in again. Now the guys keeping an eye on lots of talk about the TV and lots of the kit. So lots of tech talk, and if you like your tech talk, then get yourselves onto the Facebook page. Lots of details on there, lots of people who are very well qualified at sorting your tech out. If that fails and you're still having issues, then you can get in touch with Russ and myself, but I have to admit we are not as good as some of our members on the Chaingang on the Facebook page. They are better than us when it comes to sorting issues out on the way through. Now, just going to take a little look towards the back of this group, just in with Jimmy Allen, one of our regulars here, and just see Phillips is just trying to push his way across. So Phillips trying to get himself up there. Looks like the gang at the back still working the way up here, so it is Killingsworth just going to push in, Raccoon's pushing into that group, and it looks like Andy Hawes and Miss Cookie are going to be on a day trip, but they're likely to collect Phillips and Raccoon fairly soon again, because although we're on this run down into the desert, it is by no means an easy run as we go down. We're going to go round the turn and then come back out once again. So riding in the with Phillips there, the Watopian Alps in the distance, and snow on the hills in the distance, a bit like there was in the Pennines for the Giro earlier. We're not going to give you any spoilers on what happened on the way through. Let's jump back in with Russ, a man who knows exactly what it's like to be on and off road at the Giro, and going to take a rider in with Russ. Russ, of course, in that distinctive Downing cycling coach riders kit, and Russ, of course, mentor for lots of the young riders, some of which aren't riding the Giro and just starting off in their careers, but of course a rider mentor, and all part of the Downing cycling coach team. And looks like this gang is holding together pretty well at the moment. You just see that red beacon in the distance behind Russ, but it shows you just how quick it is when Russ is sitting on the back of the group, just controlling the pace at the rear. So the group all together as we come into these turns, and it's not going to be long before we start to see the town starting to come out in the distance. Our riders, though, are looking pretty smooth, and not too many gaps in that group at the moment, and everybody keeping calm at the moment, hopefully, as Russ keeps those wheels rolling, going for a pretty fast bike. Just seeing Harley Hobbs there, looks like Shelley Charles is in the group as well. Taylor from Bolsover is in that pack. Just going to take a little bit of a check through the riders as they're on the way past. Kooslugs is here, David Hopkinson in with the group. Shane O'Brien in here as well. Craig Genther back once again. Good to see Emma. Lesheka Ennis. Hopefully I've pronounced it right this time round. So Lesheka Ennis in the group and riding smoothly. Putting a great ride actually on Tuesday. Good to see riding so strongly. Looks like Colin Bell, beefy from Cycleways, is in the pack. Let's see if we can get a view of Colin. Not necessarily going to be in with the first finishers, but always a fast finisher and a man to watch out for if you're anywhere near him on the sprint. Just see Emma just going on his shoulder there with the flat cap, the orange shoulders, and just making her way in through this group. So it looks like this group running well together at the moment. It looks like pretty much everybody who we would expect to be in that pack is there. You can see James Woodbridge is in, back from his monster session at Monster Cross. 3 hours of cross riding for Mr. Woodbridge, and in that black and red outfit. So keeping it nice and smooth. The Velobance rider keeping it rubber side down, and hopefully going to enjoy this as much as he enjoyed the Monster Cross. Sounds like it was a good event, which is always great to see. And good to see some more events coming back. Just getting news. I was talking to the organiser of the round of the first round of the National Mountain Bike Series. Of course, we've seen plenty of our Chaingang riders out and riding on the mountain bike series as well. And the first round is promising to be very good down at Woody's Bike Park down in Fowey in Cornwall. Going to be the last weekend of the half-term holidays. Great way to spend your time down there. There's going to be camping on site. That's going to be £10 to camp on site at the National Mountain Bike Round. Yours truly on the mic down there. Looking forward to going down. It's been a little while since we had a round down there. In fact, the last round that we had in Cornwall was the wheel-made rounds run by Maddie and Mr. Horton. And good to see that the gang are still riding, but of course this time it's now being organised by the guys at Woody's, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out down there, with not having very much mountain bike action in the UK, but we have got some great riders coming down. Looks like Isla Short, who's actually going to be in action at Nova Meister, is going to be making the trip down for the women's race, and seeing lots of riders already signed up. There are categories for all ages, whether you're a vet, grand vet, super vet, whether you're a junior, juvenile rider, you can get yourselves down into that, and the entries at the moment are still open. I'm really looking forward to seeing lots of the cycling community back together now. Now, a little bit of a gap starting to open in this group. If we take a look from our helicopter at the moment, the gap just starting to open between Group 1 and Group 2 at the moment. So one rider just picking off the front, doing damage to the group behind, and that's why the aim is to stay with the yellow beacon. It's a relatively straightforward instruction. Most 2-year-olds can manage to identify the colour yellow, and most riders can identify where the yellow beacon is. The aim is to stay on top of it, all pile onto us basically, and that means that the pace then will work, and we will see plenty of FTP raises, a raise in the functional threshold power of our riders on the way through. Now, if we just take a look back, that pack about 4 or 5 wide over the road, but don't need to worry about any obstacles like you find on the Giro. So the group rolling well as they head down and towards the end again, where we started off. It's a back and forth course. In the meantime, we're going to jump in with the beacon. This is Andy Horse Tours on tour. Andy, of course, the route manager for the Tour of Britain, the Women's Tour, and Andy in our Red Beacons role. Looks like it hasn't transferred across to Mike Killingsworth. Mike Killingsworth, the volunteer who offered to take on the duties in the blue and grey there up at the front of the group, but looks like the beacon's sitting with Andy at the moment, and it means that this group of 5 effectively have 2 bus drivers on board. They've got a reserve as well, and it means they're in very safe hands with Mike Killingsworth and Andy Hawes in there, and fully expect this group to really motor along as they head around this circuit. So just jumping in with Altaf Hussein. Altaf in here, riding nice and smoothly on the Chaingang, not too far from Russ, the beacon in the group. Plenty of riders, of course, watching live as well as riding simultaneously. And we always try and make sure we relay the messages backwards and forwards. We always try to keep a check on the riders they head in and through, and at the moment pretty much most people doing exactly what they're told. A word to all of our riders, a quick reminder guys, if in doubt, don't feed the trolls, don't feed the Muppets, don't give them any encouragement, and don't give them any oxygen. As Sonia Inslee says, anybody who doesn't play the game, they're basically dead pixels. So remember guys, follow the beacon, stay with the yellow beacon, and you will be in the best place when the go goes. If you see a gap behind the beacon, then close it down. If you're up near the front pushing on, then you need to be nearer the yellow. But don't engage with people, and generally they won't keep on playing. It's a bit like kids when they want your attention and are doing something naughty. Don't give them the benefit of reacting, guys. It's good to have Chris Ball back in with us. He's in the group. He says he's glad to be back. And glad to have you back, Mr. Ball. He's just back in the group. We'll see whether he's saying that when we get to the end of the ride, because of course the pace is only going to get quicker and quicker. We'll see what he's been up to. Has he been sat with his feet up watching back episodes of Line of Duty, or has he been getting the miles in out in the real world? So speaking of Chris Ball, we have managed to find Chris in the peloton, hence the quiet moments there. So Chris sat in there. He's currently riding in that dark blue kit with the white right hand shoulder, the Team Italy kit, and let's take a little bit of a look where he is in that pack, just in front of the yellow beacon, looking super smooth, and great to see he's moving along a decent pace here, just sat in with this pack, and the pack holding together well. So good to see Mr. Ball back in the Chaingang once again. So So let's take a little look through the group here. Looks like Billy No Mates is back in with us. Good to see Billy back in again. So Billy back in the gang, and it looks like Richards is here. Dave Hopkinson back in with us as well. Dave, one of our regular riders. You can usually tell him by the beard. There he is. So just trying to jump in with Sammy Stewart. Sammy, of course, one of our very fast female riders on the Donny Chaingang. Good to have Sammy back in with us, an incredibly quick and fast rider. Been racing out on real life out on the tarmac, but good to see Sammy back riding the Chaingang. And make sure you give Sammy a follow and the team as well. It's good to see Sammy's back in the pack, and yeah, again, riding nice and strong. Not too far from Adi Dench, the one and only, the legendary, the man who rode from London to Johnny Groats in the real world for charity, then did exactly the same thing in the virtual world as well. The backyard bears a man in the group, riding nice and strongly once again. Looks like Kuzlux is in here, Mr. Wimble in the group. Let's have a look. Richards, I think this is going to be Taylor. Just sat in the pack. Yet Taylor wearing that characteristic black jersey with the red stripe down the back, regularly in that kit. Always good to see. I think Mary O'Shea back in with us again, and O'Shea, one of the riders who is beacon on the Women's Wednesdays, is in the group. So let's have a little look. Yep, Mary O'Shea is in here as well. So Mary back in the pack as well. This group's still holding nicely together. So Ted looks like he is a wall tonight. There are a few people missing in action. That is definitely the case as we start to head back in towards the fire turn. Now let's take a little bit of a look. Looks like Andy Hall's making cocktails. I'd better join Andy quick. So looks like we've picked up another rider on here, and just going to take a little bit of a check. I'm not sure that we haven't picked up Martin Bolt. Let's have a little look. We have indeed, the man who started off the craze for being Red Beacon on the Donny Chaingang. He's in here, so good to see Martin Bolt jumping back into the group. So we've got Martin Bolt, we've got Mr. Phillips in here, Andy Hawes in here, the usual gang are in and aboard, and are quite literally on the Red Beacon bus as they head out. So it looks good. Now let's have a little bit of a look. Looks like Luke Stone just a little bit off the back, and Luke riding that Tron bike at the moment, just pushing on to get back in with the Beacon group. So it looks like Luke has had to stop, and he's going to go join the bus. They'll be glad to have you, Luke. And we know Luke, one of our regular riders on the Chaingang Downey Cycling Coach rider, hence the fantastic Downey Cycling kit. In fact, we may well use Luke just to show it off in all of his glory and all the glory of that Downey Cycling kit. Remember, you can actually get this in real life as well. It looks identical, oddly enough. So just going to jump up the road. Looks like Simonite now, just distance from the back of the group. I think lost a wheel or maybe had a tech issue, because the high CC rider is usually one of the group who will be in the pack. Now just going to jump ahead to Murray. Murray just feeling the pressure come off the back. He's got to get himself back up on to the group. And looks like Craig Herring just at the back, helping the riders out at the back, and going to go take a little bit of a look as the riders that come in towards the rock arch that is the start finish line. Remember, of course, we're not quite round to complete lap one. We're heading back underneath it initially, then we'll come around the turn and come back towards it. That will be one lap complete. And already just starting to see a few people off. Looks like birthday boy Mr. Osman is just sitting around the back of the group. Happy birthday, mate. And looks like the birthday boy is riding well at the moment. Let's see if we can get a good camera shot for Russell. So Russell buried deep in the pack and made his way back on to those wheels, and the birthday boy definitely riding strongly today and back in with the pack. So Russell Osman just sitting on the wheel of Jimmy Allen at the moment. Surely if it's your birthday you're definitely entitled to follow the wheels on the way through. Take a little bit of a look back. Looks like we've got at least one rider just dropped off the pace on the back, which means that Andy Hawes' bus, the Hawes doors, will be getting busier. So let's see who's around for company. Looks like Armitage in here. Looks like Miles Curry just pushing back in to the back of the pack. Matlock is doing the same. Sammy Stewart sat nicely in this group, just sitting on the wheels. The riders with many of our regular fast riders. Looks like Mr. Thorpe is in here. So Thorpe, another of our regular riders on the Chaingang. Thanks to the wave, mate. Always a neat trick if everyone's got command. It does show us that you know exactly what you're doing. That is for sure when you know exactly where the wave button is on the computer, and Thorpe doing just that on his way through. We're just going to jump in with Mr. Richardson, if we can find Mr. Richardson buried deep in the pack. Always looks skinny, always looks smooth, and at the moment 57 revs per minute. He's just about ticking round at the moment. So Alex Gidley in the pack. Alex just hanging on further and further each time we see him, and we're going to see how long Alex is going to stay in the group, just in the grey and orange jersey there. So just going to see if he is going to stay in with this pack to the go, and hopefully going to be in there. Just seeing Fiona Kestevan, I think Mary O'Shea. Looks like Sammy Stewart in that pack riding strongly. Everybody's working well at the moment, and they are going to see Andy Hawes coming in the opposite direction. There he goes. Now Andy does have a pack of riders round with him, and he's not on his own, don't worry. We don't let him out on his own very often. So Andy going in the opposite direction and headed back out in the around the loop, but looks like the pack riding together well. Now this is going to be the completion of lap number 1 as they come in towards the archway here. So let's take a little look. There's the archway coming up. So this is the finish line in a little while. At the moment, so this is 1 lap done as we come underneath here. 2 full laps to go. So underneath the archway our riders go. They're going to reappear on the far side, and just keeping an eye on those riders. The yellow beacon holding that pack together. Jimmy Allen just rolling around the back with Matlock. The regular riders who know exactly how to save their energy sitting in with that group, and that's the way to get quicker. Wait and wait and wait. Use your time wisely, expend the energy and wisely as you go in and through. Let's see if we can get hold of Russ. He's not sure where he is in the pack at the moment. The camera just zooming out. A helicopter just going for an altitude record. We're going to go take a little look down on the course at the moment. So just seeing that we've got Joe Mundham back on the ride as well. So Inslee in the pack. It's going to be quite a cast of regulars in there. Ben Holmes is in, Douglas Main in, Phil Anderson, not that Phil Anderson, but Phil Anderson in the group, and just jumping in with Russ at the moment. So Russ on his way through and putting in pretty quick time. 11 women riding today, so go out Sammy Stewart, Fiona Kestevan, Harley Hobbs, Mario Shea, looks like Steph Rourke in here, Ferguson, Joe Munden, Taylor, looks like Lasika Ennis. I suspect that is going to be Sonia Inslee from Bolsover District, and Miss Cookie, of course, in the group. You can see so many riders back in. Just keeping an eye on Russ at the moment as we make our way along here. So as Russ's heart rate looks like it's something sensible, let's see if we can get hold of the Bear the Yellow Beacon out on the ride. Calling Russ, Earth to Russ, are you there, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Nice group, it's rolling together pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, it's settled down nicely, hasn't it? I was having a bit of a sing-song then to myself. Just when you said I'm going to go and find Russ, I thought, oh, I better show up.
Next time I won't warn you. We'll come in to hear your dulcet tones as you sing away to everybody. Serenaded the Chaingang. We didn't know it was a skill that you had, mate.
It was just noises, mate.
Yeah, most people's noises when they're hurtling along on a Chaingang are definitely not what you want to hear.
It's tapping up. Yeah, see, I told you, my heart rate level 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, something going on.
Well, it's good to see so many of our regular riders back. We've got 11 women on the Chaingang tonight, and good to see we've got Sammy Stewart back with us and Joe Munden, both very quick riders, and riders who we know could be in at the finish. We'll see if they've got the sprint on them, but this definitely is going to be a sprinter's course, isn't it? You can't see anybody getting away and staying away.
Never say never. It is the DCG after all, and yeah, anything goes really when that go and the flag goes down. So yeah, watch this space, isn't it?
It is indeed, watch this space. Well, the main group together, horse tours rolling at the back. We're going to let Russ get back to riding the Chaingang as we head into the tunnels, into the lakes, and the gradient starts to go uphill a little bit. Not very much. So cheers to Russ. We're back in with the rider once again, and these riders now heading in to the cave system, and just going to take a little bit of a zoom around the lakeside here as they make their way in and through. The group pretty much all together at the moment. That's what we want to see as they come in towards the waterfalls here in the centre of Watopia. And that group are riding together really well at the moment. Nice big solid block as they come up the hillside here. And Russ doing the smart thing. You can spot the pro in the group because they're the ones sat on the back expending the least energy of all. And that is Russ sat on the back of the group here. Now the main group at the front round the yellow beacon just ticking along nicely. The question is, where is our red beacon? How far behind are those time gaps? Let's go have a look and check out Andy Hawes and the red beacon group, which looks to have swelled its numbers some more. So Mike Killingsworth, our red beacon, as should have been, is the rider in the blue kit. We're going to try and get a little bit of a view up. So leading the group along, that is Mike Killingsworth. We've then got Phillips in here. We've got Cookie in here as well. And we're going to have to drop a few names in here. Good to see Racooni's in here on that purple Swift Concept Z1 bike, the Tron bike. We've then got Martin Bolt in that Z Peugeot jersey. And just going to have a little look. Looks like Armit's in here as well. So Armit in the group in the green kit there. Is that Phillips? So that's Phillips in the kit. We're going to try and get a hold of Armit. Easier said than done clearly today. Should be the other rider in the camo kit. Indeed it is. So at the moment in the group. So some really good riding. And good to see 7 people now in the bus. We're going to have a little bit of a look up the road because I think Barnsley Barrel is going to be our next rider to see the bus coming. In fact, the bus is coming at some pace behind. So Barnsley Barrel needs to be looking. The key to use is key number 6. And Barnsley Barrel is going to have the bus coming up at pace. Going to need to be motoring. So again, bad news from Craig Herring. After we think Craig Herring's saying to us that there is a turbo trainer gone pop, and it could well be Barnsley Barrel's turbo trainer is indeed dead. Just going to take a little look. He's picking up the pace there. I'm not going to get on to the back of the group without a substantial pickup, I think, because that group is fairly motoring along. Let's take a little bit of jump up the road. It is Craig Herring who's got a dead turbo trainer. Look at this. Craig Herring at the side of the road. That's one dejected figure. Now we could just figure, look at that. It's putting the power down. You can get 20 watts out of it. It's going nowhere fast. And let's hope he doesn't throw the bike to the side. Maybe we need a little button for that. As you sat at the side of the road, if the bike doesn't work, throw the bike over the side. We haven't got that for the avatars to do at the moment. You can see how fast those gaps are opening up. So McLeod in the back of the main group, 123 in front. Herring sat at the side of the road. This group around Russ at the moment working well together. And you can see this pack nicely holding the wheels as they make their way along and through here. So just in with Ben Cokin at the moment. Ben, another member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. But remember, guys, that is how we keep the show on the road. These people are absolutely critical. If you're enjoying the ride, if you're enjoying watching this, it's only possible because of the people who joined the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the DCG gang. To say thank you, what we are doing is we are collecting together some great supporters in the form of people like Halo Wheels, who've been giving away hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of kit, as well as massive discounts. OTE again, big giveaways and discounts. Fellow Skin, they've been looking after our riders with giveaways. There's a discount, there's free samples. 1080, of course. How many pairs of Oakleys? How many Oakley bundles? All going out to DCG members. And great to see that the store really busy. In fact, the reason Ian Taylor, the man from 1080, is not in the ride today is because he's actually out and riding in the Peak District and getting some Northern Hills in there as well. Now, just watching our riders coming through. Hopefully they were on the Velo Viewer graphics. You've seen the graphics and all the kit. Velo Viewer, of course, keeping us up to date with all of the tech, and the links go into every one of our members' emails. All of our members getting the links directly to their inbox, as well, of course, as getting the kit sent, the details sent straight to them. Now the Red Beacon bus looks like it is moving along nice and smoothly at the moment. They're no doubt gone past the aperitifs and onto the main courses. They won't yet be on after dinner coffees, but if they were, they would definitely be on to double day from Grand Tour Coffee. They've got big discounts and the coffee available from Russ. And of course, don't forget Gritty, who are the people who kicked off the giveaways in 2021. Fantastic giveaways, and continuing to offer discounts at the moment. There's a 15% discount on the core clothing range, and Crosscast Neil I've seen in the group a little bit further up the road. We'll be riding in that kit tonight, and we'll be no doubt trying to keep cool as he keeps those pedals turning. So the Red Beacon bus group are looking good. The main group, well, let's take a look. Let's see where they're at the moment. See if everybody is behaving themselves. Looks like that group holding together nicely at the moment, and not too many stragglers. One or two people just fighting for the wheels at the back. We're going to take a little look at the numbers here. So just going to take a look. Looks like Alan Parsons not all that far off the back of the group. He's going to have to accelerate up a little bit here. So Neil is actually in team kit today. Is that the Mag Speed kit, Neil, or is that the Gritty team kit? We'll soon find out. I'm sure Neil will be watching live. Good to see he's managed to actually get on the ride tonight. A man who at work has just had half an aircraft delivered to work as his new laboratory. Mr. Vandergate, yes, most people do. If you don't, we don't need to know. Do not put the pictures on Facebook. Please, under any circumstances, don't do that. So just taking a little bit of a jump about on riders here. Taylor in here, Pillsworth in this group. So Stuart's sitting near the back of that group at the moment. Just sitting on Russ's wheel. Looks like Trevor Crehan is in here. Trevor, of course, one of our regulars from the very start of the Donny Chaingang. And Trevor sat in the pack. Craig Genther doing the same now. Craig's usually in a green jersey. We're going to take a little look at Craig. Craig sitting in that green and black kit at the moment, and just sitting in here. Does chamois cream count as clothing? No, definitely not. That is for sure. You wouldn't want to walk down the street just wearing chamois cream, although there's probably stories from the pro peloton that Russ won't tell us about things like that. So let's take a little bit of a look near the back of the pack. I think there's a few people just feeling the pace. They need to be sat on those wheels. Don't want to let the gaps go. Sadler at the moment just chasing onto the back wheel, having to push out some big watts there just to try and close that gap down. This group are riding well at the moment. Trevor, no going back to the bus. I'll never feature you again, I promise. So it looks like Jan Taylor in here and riding strongly. The bike doctor rider just ahead of Harley Hobbs. Harley sitting to the right hand side in that black and white kit there. Now on the white of the basic bike, and I'm sure Harley must be able to buy a faster bike in the drop shop, because the more you ride, the faster the bike you get. Although Harley will be getting a good workout with that, because it's not particularly an aero setup, which most people would be aiming to have as they were in with the group. Parsons rolling around the back of the group there, and just seeing Davis just putting in a aero power up. So looks like we're getting a claim of medical reasons for diving back from Crehan, and that's understandable. It's Taylor now just having to push up the watts per kilo, currently at 4.5, 5 watts per kilo. The pack in front spread across the row, so the pace is off. Just like in real life, if the pace gets hot, then it tends to line straight out at the moment. This group together, 30k cover, so we're over the halfway point, and looks like Taylor able to push back in, and this group down clear of our red beacon by 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So jumping in with Andy Hawson, looks like the bus driver has gone a bit, had a little bit too much of the cocktails on the bus, as he just stretches his legs out. They're coming around the turn to head back up once again on the course, and this group riding strongly all together. Great to see a nice big pack in that group. 2, 4, 6 riders all together. It looks like Armit's just up the road at the moment. We're just going to take a little look. So Hopkinson and Crehan now heading back to the bus, and that's the advantage of having the red bus driver behind. Andy Hawes waiting to sweep the guys up with the broom wagon. So the group riding well as a chase group. The red beacon, this is the 2 dropped off the main pack. That's David Hopkinson and Trevor Crehan. Then we're going to just jump up in with this pack, who have been running pretty strongly here. Looks like Davis out of the game with potentially a dropout there. We'll see where he's got. He's got 0 watts per kilo coming out at 30k as the pace ticks along at around about that 3 watts per kilo mostly. And the group pretty much all over the road at the moment, and just keeping an eye now. The man that everybody wants to beat. He is the fastest ice cream man in the west of the country, based in the Lake District. It is Paul Whitelaw, the ice cream cart. I've just been sent a picture by him of the car. It was great to see it in his situation. He's literally based in the lakes. He is fueled by ice cream. He rides a Kicker Turbo trainer, a Wahoo Kicker, which is a direct drive turbo, and at the moment is the man they all want to beat. Will he be beaten today? What has he got up his sleeve? Can the man who came from the West Coast, used to ride for the Kirby CC? Remember, this is a man who's ridden with Danny Clark in the on the track in his time now in with that group. But the question is, can he take it out when it's fast and flat? What can the gang do about him? Well, they have to wait. They can't go for it until the signal is given by Russ. And at the moment, as we ride in with Paul Whitelaw, the question is, what is he dreaming up behind those goggles? So back over the pull, that is the lakeside area of the course here, the Yellow Beacon group moving nice and quickly. Looks like Kieran Brown just on the front in on that mountain bike, keeping that pace nice and steady, and the whole of the pack there bunched in nice and tight. They're going to be getting plenty of aero advantage. We do say on this course it's all about the draft, it's all about staying on the wheels. The moment that gap opens, you are in trouble. This is where the riders really do need to pay attention. They can't afford to let a gap go. Equally, they cannot afford to expend too much energy. They're going to need it all potentially in a sprint. So just keeping an eye on the riders at the back of this bunch at the moment. Looks like Dobson now heading back down and towards the bus there. It looks like he's just ticking along, but we know that he's doing 3 watts per kilo. So just watching Dobson make his way along. So Dobson now knows that Hopkinson and Crehan are just behind. Looks like Trevor's just waiting for the ice streaks to come along, courtesy of the bus at the back there. So Hopkinson, Crehan and Dobson behind our beacon. It looks like Russ at the moment just being distracted. I can't imagine who would be communicating with Russ mid-ride. Who would be mean enough to do that? Oh yeah, that'd be me. So it's like another rider just at the back of the group there, just starting to find themselves in the danger zone, starting to be distanced. Just going to keep an eye on who is heading off the back of the pack. Dangerous place to be. Now, is it going to be Alan Parsons who is in trouble at the back here? It is. So it's Parsons now who looks like he's in trouble. Looks like the bus is going to be the next stopping point for Alan Parsons' way round. Could see Alan on the gang tonight, and Alan, of course, always taking tips from the top. Apparently, rumours are that there's been massive sales of ice cream in the Killarmarsh area, as Mr. Parsons aims to emulate the speedy legs of the fastest ice cream salesman in the West. That is Paul Whitelaw, but Alan at the moment just watching the beacon head off into the distance, out on the lonely roads on his own, but I'm sure ticking out some serious power as well. So let's drop him a thumbs up, a ride on from the commentary now. Flynn just rolling on the back of this group. Come on, Jim. keep him push up a little bit up to the yellow beacon. The aim is to stay around that yellow beacon. That's it. Nice riding. Ben Cokin in that same group, riding well, sitting on the wheels. The place to be is on the heels of Russ Downing. He is the man who calls the pace, and could see Doxy in here. Doxy's in this group. Main's in here. Wingy Robinson, Pillsworth, all riding around about Russ Downing at the moment. Birthday boy still in here. He's had a few interesting moments, let's say, as he's been nearer the back, but Osman, his revs almost nearly double his age. Needs a few more revs on it yet to get up to that 80 mark as he hits his 40th birthday. So it looks like Cannon now, the rider shadowing Russ. We come back underneath the gantry once again. Gonna come round that loop. So lots of personal best times are being set on the way through that time. So just in with the group at the back at the moment, and just seeing, looks like Emma Lasheka just feeling the Lasheka Ennis just feeling the pressure there. Dropped to 2.8. Craig Genther having to put 5 watts per kilo to go out, so looks like riders starting to disappear. Cannon's gone. Look at this. Lasheka Ennis has got to keep paying attention, Emma. You've been distanced here, and look at the watts per kilo having to come out here to get back on the group. This shows you just how hard it is once you come off the back. We're just going to track in with Emma at the moment. 7 watts per kilo she pushes in. Now, if you save this kind of effort for the finish, you could be in with the sprint and finish chance. But great riding there by Emma to get herself back into that group. Absolutely storming stuff, and straight up to the area of Russ on the way through. That is the way to do it, but I think Cannon is going to be out of the back here. I'm just going to try and jump in with him. Easier said than done. And the go has gone. It's gone early. It's gone early. We have to be in with the man they all want to beat at the moment. The go has gone. And look at the number of power-ups that have been put into play here. And he's absolutely inundated with them. Absolutely amazing stuff. Here we go. You can just see everybody's fighting for the wheels. The pressure is on. We've still got over a lap to go. Russ has gone early here. He's trying to catch them out, and he really is going to test these riders here as he's put that pressure down. Now, who can go early enough? Can they break this up? Neil from the Crosscaster up in that leading group. AD Dench doing this. But remember, it's really hard to break it apart. If you can stay in the wheels, you will stay with the riders. You don't want to put your nose out into the wind. And look at that. That go means we've seen a whole load of PBs on the way underneath that archway. I'm not surprised. We're just keeping an eye on this group at the moment, but that group is about 35 riders strong at the moment, nearly 40 riders, and you just start to see the second group on the road forming, and this is where we get that natural selection between the riders, those riders who've got the power to go and move their way up into that group. Now, this second group, if they work together, they will get there, but look at the riders scattered all over the road. The go has gone with 1 lap and a bit to go. And you can see all of a sudden things get a little bit interesting up on the front. The group coming in the opposite direction to get a grandstand view as they come back past that Red Beacon group, heading off into the distance behind our leaders. And it looks to me like Thorpe and Co just pushing on at the front, but that looks like Mason with the disc wheel in there, sitting in 4th wheel, closing the gaps down there. So it looks like Mason now is going to be making his way up towards the front. And can Mason drag strip this out? Can he pull this group apart? Can he put the hurt on and make the others chase? Remember, the man they all want to beat is the man in orange with the goggles on. He's sitting, he's doing the work here. Can they rip his legs to pieces, or will that ice cream come flooding through his veins by the time they get into the finish? Russ now chasing down Mason. That's a mean trick by the bear there. So I don't know what Mason's done to poke the bear over the last few weeks, but looks like Russ just keeping the pressure on. You see riders absolutely fighting to get in to the pack here, and some big numbers coming out from those riders. Now, who's going on to the front? Is it Neil from the crosscast? It was Neil from the crosscast, but look at this, he's rolling around really, really quickly here on the front. Nobody wants to let the gaps go, but there are riders being distanced non-stop, and the riders are going to be racing the train through at the moment. The train is going to be leading its way through, but this really is a fantastic group of riders in here. Stone is in here, Wimble in here, Russ Downing in here. Looks like John Wild, the old fella himself, is back with us. Good to have John from VeloViewer in here. Now, John Wild has been a man to beat before. Now he's a very strong rider, but look who's on the front. Joe Munden. We said she was strong, we said she was fast, and Joe Munden taking the jersey, the fastest rider down Fuego Flats. I am not surprised by the pace of this, and Joe Munden has got a kick on her as well, so don't discount her when you come in to the finish. She's more than capable of ripping the legs off this little lot and spitting them out afterwards, because Joe's got a phenomenal kick, but she's got to just stay in that group to that finish. Looks like Dench now on the front, then it's Booth, Miles Curry, Wild in there, Munden moving up again. She wants to be right in on the action here. Taylor's in that group, Oliver's moving up, Rick van der Gate is in the mix here, Morn's in here. Looks like Dick Samui, this is a rider who has been initially being distanced while he's now on fire, and good to see Dick in action. He is right up with this leading group on the course at the moment, and looks like they just have been toying at the moment with each other. The group are just taking it a little easier. The numbers have dropped back down again, and that's allowed Doxy just to ping off the front here. So Doxy, a very good rider uphill, using the one slight increase in the climb to start to get into the road. You can see the feather flags going up. Those feathers at the moment are giving a 10% weight advantage, knocking 10% off the weight of the riders on the only bit of ascent up this hill. Seeing one or two riders then having to engage the draft, so that enables them to draft more efficiently, but this group is together, and I think there's plenty more pace in this pack. Let's jump in with Russ. 137 beats per minute, plenty of capacity in the Downing engine at the moment, and you can see that by the fact he's got on the front. But what these riders need to do, if it was me in this group and I had heard the go, 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 I would be putting in attack after attack after attack, no work, and then everything. And that is the only way you're going to break fast finishes by the end, and leave it to the strong boys and girls to chase it down. Because I think this is really, although we're seeing some attrition at the back of the group, we're not seeing a big kick at the front. And it looks like Altaf Hussein just paying the price. So is Thompson. Looks like Taylor and Oral in the chasing group behind. So this is group number 2 on the road. Kinlock in here. Looks like Runner is in this group. So we've got Runner in here. We've got Kinlock, Darby, Osman in here. Ferguson, Taylor, Wallace. Looks like Tim Cooper in this group. This is one good group number 2. However, they are chasing our leading group, and looks like the pack are just about holding together, spitting one or two riders out the back who are going to see the chasers behind. Looks like Altaf Hussein is going to see that group coming behind. He's going to be dropping into group number 2. But on the front again, looks like that's Dench at the moment, who's stretched it out a little bit. So Dench stretching out the group at the very front. We're going to try and get right up to our 2 leaders, Doxy and Dench. The 2 riders on the front, stringing it out again. Who are they leaving the work to? Who's doing the work? Well, it looks like it's Neil from the Crosscast who was left doing the work. He's backed right off the pace here. He's going to let somebody else do this. And I think riders are starting to work out that they need to leave it for the strong riders. get on the wheels of the riders they come across and use them to close the gaps down and make them work time and time again. And that is the way to break the riders. If you're in a strong group of riders, we see it in the race league, so we see it on the Chaingang when that go is gone. Now Whitelaw moves up onto the front, but he's quickly off the front there, and just pulling the gap down, and just seeing a little bit of a push on up the side there. I think, is that Aaron Stone just making his way up? Let's have a little look. Aaron Stone in there, that is what we want to see. Aaron Stone on the front now, and then quickly easing off, so the youngster takes a little bit of a roll back there. So let's take a little bit of a check. Dixamu getting back in, Hager getting back in again. Now who's on the front? Is it Mason? Can Mason go clear on the front? Is Mason going to make them work? Easier said than done finding the very front of this group at the moment. We are in with Mason now. Mason's up here with some big numbers, and yet again they're leaving it to Whitelaw to do the chasing down. Whitelaw trying to answer this now. Is this the only way they're going to beat the ice cream man? The man who's bathes in ice cream, he reckons it's good for the skin apparently. We will see. So it is Gareth Mason twinkling his way, tiptoed his way from that group. 3 seconds is the gap. Can he open it up some more? Now Doxy's gone over the top there. Doxy just doing some of the work to close this down, and you can see the encouragement coming from the group behind. Looks like Doxy is he's back off again though, but he's still doing enough to close the gap down now. Really interesting to see who does the work to chase. Mason has gone clear, and lots of the regular riders are just sat waiting, letting everybody else do the work. We're just in with Booth at the moment. If we take a little bit of a look up the road, you can just see the riders in front just coming back together. There they go out of sight. This is what's left of the chase group, and remember they need to think about who are they going to go for here, because this is going to be really interesting to see who can take this on at the front of the group. We're just in with Whitelaw, who's now with Doxy, and Doxy has got it down at 5.7, and Whitelaw's just sitting in here. He's not taking the bait too much here. We'll see if it's going to continue onwards. Who is going to sit in the back of that pack, leaving these two to do the work on their own. Whitelaw now jumping into the back wheel of Doxy, so Doxy now providing a tow. We're going to see Whitelaw go through. He's gone past the side there, so Whitelaw pushing the numbers up here and leading this duo out. They're going to see how much energy they can take out of them, and look at this big number coming now from Russ. He's going to sprint across here, and is Russ going to drag them back up? He wasn't happy with the pace there. Is he going to go straight over the top of them? He's gone straight over the top. Is anybody going to react to this? Looks like Whitelaw's seen the danger. He's on the chase at the moment. But this looks to me like Downing really means this. He's got at 5 watts per kilo, 6 watts per kilo. Now he's backing off. He's made Whitelaw go in the red. He's made Thorpe go in the red. So 2 riders going in the red there to chase down Russ. And that is how you take the sting out of the fast riders. You have to kick and kick again. And that is what Russ has done. He's tried to break this group up, to try and split the group apart a little bit, make those people who are feeling strong chasing now. Mason coming back. Mason surely must be fancying this. He's putting in plenty of work now. Is Mason. He's gone over the top once again. Who's going to chase down Mason? Mason goes for it here. He's gone again. A counter attack by Mason to Russ's attack back to bring the leaders back. And who is going to go after him? Mason, a very popular rider on the Donny Chaingang, a rider who's not afraid to do the work to help out as Group 2 goes sailing into the roundabout round behind the leaders. Now Mason on the front. Who is going to be the nearest rider to chase in that group behind? Is it going to be Doxy again? So it looks like the work is being done here. Doxy must fancy his chances here. He is doing plenty of work on the front. But Wild and Whitelaw coming. Look at the revs off Whitelaw just to pull himself back into the group there. Doxy ticking along, almost doing a tester's pace here, 50 odd revs per minute. And yet again, plenty of work being done to close the gap down on Mason, and looks like the pack have worked out their tactics here, and it's going to be interesting to see who has got the pace, who's got the pressure, who's going to put in the next attack over the top. Just seeing this group come back together. The Miles Curry now moving up towards the front. So looks like Jimmy Allen said Paul Whitelaw's not getting away in a month of Sundays. Are they 99s? Have they got sprinkles on top? We will see. There has been plenty of attacks on the way through. Can anybody keep these attacks running? Can they make the guys who've been winning time and time again work hard now? Look at this. We're seeing another move here by Downing. Downing's gone again. He's in the red. Who's got the energy to chase him down now? Where's the response coming from? Looks like Doxy's moved up 1 watt per kilo to 5.3, but he's not doing a huge amount here. So Russ has gone off the front, and yet again, this is where the kicks come from. Whitelaw's gone on his wheel here. He's gone off the front. Time is going to run out for these guys to wear each other down, but it looks like Whitelaw's gone. Now he's back off again. 4.5. Real cat and mouse stuff here on the front. We're seeing a ramp up, and then we're seeing it come back down. So Booth now ticks on to the wheels. Is he going to contribute to the front? He's down at 3.9. Neil from the crosscast makes his way on. Oh, we know who's on his way. It's the one and only Jimmy Allen. It's the one and only Jimmy Allen. Jimmy Allen has gone clear. He's done it at last. He's made a gap. He's opened it up. He's put in the feather flag. What good it's going to do on 0%, I don't know. But the man who is the Russ Downing stand-in, it is Jimmy Allen, the man on the front here doing the attack. Remember, Jimmy Allen's the man who can get recognised against all others, and yet again the chase has come from Whitelaw to close him down, and he's made it across. Now, who is in the group behind? So Jimmy worked out who was going to be chasing him, but this is a really tough stuff. Jimmy is now sat on the man in front, and Doxy here going to pull across. I think Dench now working hard. This is really making the riders work as the red beacon goes the other way, getting a grandstand view of the ride here. Where's the next attack? Where's the next kick going to come from? Who is going to take it to the riders in the front? Who is going to take it out of the riders? Well, look at this. We've just seen Russ push his way up to the front. He's now pushing clear here, and there's only so long the riders can keep reacting to a repeated attack on the way through. There's only so many times you can do this. If you're a track rider, you can kick and kick again, but eventually your legs will go pop. Well, look at this. It was Whitelaw who came across, but this time he's now got Thorpe on his wheel. Remember, these riders sit on each other. They are not going to be working as hard. They have the advantage that they are sat not working and breaking the wind. Now, Thorpe has gone really, really clear here. The gap has gone. Somebody thought Russ was tired. Russ doesn't know the meaning of the word. He's been digging a blinking great hole for his pain cave for the last I don't know how long, and still able to push on now. Is Thorpe thinking he's going to go for this with Whitelaw? He's still ticking the numbers round, but the gap's not really coming down. Now let's see if these riders, what are they going to do? We're coming in towards the lakes. Remember, we've got to go through the lakes, come out the other side, underneath the rock arch, round the turn at the far side, and come back again. Really intriguing stuff. Who's got legs left in that group? The pace and yo-yoing up and down is going to be taking its toll on the riders. Doxy going for a little bit of cyclocross on the inside of the group, and just seeing Joe Munden just easing off the pressure there as she rolled in towards the front. I think it's going to be crosscast Neil next rider on there as Maury gets a drop out. Now who's on the offensive? We will see who's going to go for it once again. It's only blinking Jimmy Allen. He's gone for it once more. Come on, Jimmy. Time to dig deep here, mate. Let's see if he's going to make the move. Doxy wants to go with him. He's aware of the danger. AD Dench is in here, and you can just see these riders at the moment are just being backed off a little bit, and Allen has got a little bit of a gap here. Whether it's enough to break them, I don't know, but these repeated attacks are taking their toll. The responses are not as quick every time afterwards, and it looks to me like the effect of these repeated attacks are gradually wearing down the legs of this bunch. Constant attack and counter attack really is taking effect, because the chase back down is nowhere near as strong as we come in to the tunnels here now. Martin sit on the back of the group. Wilds at the back. Looks like Whitelaw near the back. Sadlaw near the back. Now it looks like Goddard moving up towards the front of the group. This is where it really does pay to note who is where in this group and who is on the offensive at any one time. Now, Doxy has gone hard, and yet again, Whitelaw has had to chase him down. He's not letting him get very far this time. So, looks like that attack on this slightly quicker section into the flatlands again, not taking its toll. And Doxy all over the road here. So just riding in with Creason at the moment. It looks like they're leaving Doxy out to dry out the front there, doing all the work on his own. The riders coming back together again now. Who's got a kick on them? Who is prepared to give it some as they come down and in past the train line in the distance? The train heading in the opposite direction here in town. But you can just see this group now. I think it's taken its toll, those kicks, but has anybody got a counter-attack in them again? Can anybody put a fresh attack in? Let's see who is going to take this on. The Pace has come out of this group, and riders in ones and twos behind here. Has anybody got the feel to give it some? Well, look at this. Just seeing this could be the way to go now. Don't make it an obvious attack, but just drift up to the front and booth at the moment. Well, he drifted up to the front at what was nearly 6 watts per kilo there, and just almost drifted away off the front. He's demanded a little bit of work from the guys behind to close that gap back down again. Now, let's see who is going to put the pressure on at the front. Remember, is it going to be an attack after an attack? Well, 7 watts per kilo, that counts as an attack, that is for sure. Mason again on the offensive here. Doxy almost responding to that, but not quite. He's gone back into the, almost back into the bunch. They're not quite on him. And now Mason is putting the pressure on. He's drawn out a response once again. And yet again, it's the man in orange. It's the man they all are trained to depose from that top spot, who's doing the work on his own to close this gap down. But if Whitelaw and Mason get together, Mason has a monstrous sprint on him, and Mason is putting in a big effort here. He's holding that gap at the moment. It's at 2 seconds with 5 seconds to the bunch. Now can Mason time trial his way through? Remember, he's not called the fat cyclist for nothing. That's because he's got a big powerful unit here, and on the flatlands he's putting it to good use. And as you see him coming around this turn behind, then looks like Taylor really is pushing on at 6 watts per kilo. They're going to close down the gap, I think. And just watching now, the yellow beacon is doing some serious grafting here. He doesn't want to leave it down to a 2-up sprint from the guys at the front. He's going to try and pull that bunch in here, and looks like he's pulled them back with ease here. Now, just to see, the pressure is on behind. We're just watching some big numbers here from Wild and Booth. They've made it up on to the wheels as well. And this has whittled the group down. Can the bunch behind react to this? Who is going to try and come across now? Aaron Stone. He's got some numbers in here. He's trying to make that group. He's gone past Mason here. So's Jimmy Allen on the heels of him. So it looks like Stone and Allen making the way in and across. So the riders underneath the arch have got to go round the turn and back to the arch finish. They really are putting the pressure on today. Who is going to take this? Mason yet again has worked hard here, but I don't think he's going to be the bride. I think he's going to be the bridesmaid at the moment. It is Wild who's gone for the long one here, and Wild is holding these numbers. Now, Wild has got a good pace on him when he puts the pressure down, and that's what he's done. Aaron Stone is looking to try and close that gap down at the moment, and the responses are not coming too quickly behind at the moment. I think Wild is going to get, yes, he's into this turn now. He's got to hold the gap 3 seconds. Remember, is he going to do a taco? Is he going to go clear? Is he going to stay clear? Is he going to have that solo victory? Can Wild do this? We've seen him in action on the hills. This could be the day that he makes it happen. Let's see how he goes. It is a real big push here. Come on, John. Keep that kick going, mate. He's got to keep the pressure on at the moment. Looks like Jimmy Allen on the heels of currently Whitelaw, with Aaron Stone in the wheels as well. Now, if these guys can pull it back together again, they're not going to try and get the group. Let's have a little bit of a look. Looks like Wild has put another big dig in here. He's really making these riders work for it to get that gap back down again. as they come round. There are 4 riders clear of the group. The group needs to get its finger out though, because as they come back round in the opposite direction, it is going to come down those numbers now. Whitelaw's gone to the front, have all those attacks and done the damage. Wild is going to jump on to the wheels if he can here. He's got to move now. Aaron Stone has to get the gap down with Jimmy Allen here. Time is running out for them. They are going to come past the marker. There's the marker. So time is running out as Stone left it too late here. Whitelaw's put a kick in. He won here on Tuesday. He managed to go clear. He's got a gap on Wild. It could be 2 out of 2. They're going to have to keep refining those tactics. And it looks like the man who's got 99s on the end of each of his bedposts is currently looking like he's going to be the man celebrating with extra sprinkles tonight, because it is going to be the fastest ice cream man in the West taking victory. It's Whitelaw. But look at this. Second place goes to John Wild. He's held on. John Wild puts in an awesome ride to take second place. It's going to be a 3rd place for Stone, 4th place Jimmy Allen, 5th place for the Bear himself, 6th place for Neil from the Crosscast, 7th for Thorpe, 8 Doxy, 9 Dench, 10 Booth, 11 is going to be Emsley, and all these riders absolutely hurting here. Brilliant riding, and our first female rider in there, Jo Munden. What a ride by Jo into the finish there and in with that group. Brilliant ride by these riders as they come in and through the finish. We are just going to try and get ourselves in with the right group just up the road. It's easier said than done, I have to say, so you have to just bear with us as we try and move our way up the road. If you are going through the finish line and we can't get to you, apologies, we can only move as fast as the game will allow us, and when you're on these turns, that is only at a set pace, not long, and we will soon be up there. So Oliver just in front of these riders. We're going to go in with Murray now. I know Murray had been having dropouts. I think Woodbridge has gone through. We're going to try and drop back across. Let's get ourselves somewhere up with the leaders that come in. I think Murray's going for the sprint here. Murray keeps on kicking. He keeps on getting a dropout here. So it's going to be Murray, the rider that we're going to see come into the line next. And Murray goes through. Then it's going to be Varty immediately behind. It's going to be Oliver, who is chasing hard there behind. It looks like it's Pines Cycles who've got the lead of the bunch group behind, but I think we're going to see a big sprint coming out of there, and you can see some big numbers coming here, and I think it's going to be Morn the man to watch when it comes to the sprint here. Absolutely phenomenal power here from Morn. Billy No Mate's putting out big numbers here at 7. I think that's going to be Sammy Stewart, second of our women through in that group. Absolutely storming ride by Sammy Stewart. Good to have you back, Sammy. And Sammy absolutely storming through there. Now we are going to try and drop across the road to the riders who are going to be heading in to the finish. Easier said than done, it has to be said. So just coming in to the archway is going to be Mr. Runner. Make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Always keeps us amused with the posts on Instagram. Some fantastic riding by our riders on the way through. It's been absolutely serious stuff. Great to see these riders giving it some big beans coming in. And we're just going to go across from Runner, who's just come in and through. And I think it's going to be the Sean Ferron group is going to be the next group in now. Sean, one of our big sprinters here, one of the gang giving it big beans here. Look, the revs, 132 revs per minute. Sean, didn't realise your legs went round that fast. Surely that is some serious numbers there. Now there's going to be a kick from behind. Scotland's up at 7.983. They're coming for him. Have they got the kick to get him? Scotland's the most likely culprit who's going to get him, but look at this. It's going to be close. It's going to be close on the line. Oh, look at this. Scotland's got him. Ferren gives best to Scotland as he comes through the line. Then it's going to be Elliot Dubash. Looks like Street and Thorn, followed by Shaw, Mason and Gang. And we are just going to try and drop in. This could well be our next group on the road. Just taking a little look up the course there. So there are one or two riders just in front. We're going to keep a eye on this group till we get some settling down of the numbers in there. And looks like Emma Lasika Ennis in Lasheka. My apologies, I must remember to try and get that name right. Been doing some practicing. And Emma in this group. It looks like just starting to go clear on the front here. Going to be taking it out here for the finish, because remember we finish at that rock arch, and Emma clearly been reading the notes that come out with the DCG gang members email. Tells you where the finishes are, what the tactics are likely to be, what bike to ride, where the hills are if there are any. Now going to take a little bit of a check back. Now normally we can rely on Sonia Inslee and Carl Johnson to put in big sprints into the line here, but looks like Emma going to take the top spot now. Behind it is going to be close here. Oh, Sonia Inslee just pipping Carl Johnson. Looks like Rourke almost on the heels there. So Steph Rourke putting a great ride as well. Steve Hilbert in that group. Looks like O'Shea coming through with the group as well. Wingy in there. So some great riding by this group as they come in and through the line. We're going to drop back, I think, to Colin Belbeefy from Cycleways, just making his way round this turn as the computer finds itself a few more riders out on course. We know that Andy is out on course. I think with what looks to be a reasonable gap from Colin to the front, we may well get a chance to drop in on the Red Beacon bus. They're not all that far away. They're about a minute behind, I think, at the moment. So we're going to drop in with our group, and then we'll work our way up towards the front. So this is the Red Beacon group at the moment. Bolt in here, Horsey, Ridley in here. Looks like all the gang in here. Raccoon in the group, Killingsworth in here as well. They're all looking pretty good up the road. I think we've got one or two riders. I think Bell is definitely up the road from them. They're going to see some of the roads coming the opposite way. Remember, they've got to go underneath the archway, then come back in the opposite direction. We are going to have to try and work our way back through this group. Looks sort of like McLeod heading in front of the gang at the moment, heading in towards the turn. We're just keeping our eye out for Beefy from Cycleways, because there are riders all the way out and round the course at the moment. It's certainly looking really busy out there. So just in with the Beacon group here, and there are a few turns to the Rock Archway in front. There are a number of riders up the road here. I think Flynn at the moment showing as being well up the road, and Colin Bell, Beefy from Cycleways, doing a great job on the way through. And apologies, Colin, we'll catch it up with you. You get plenty of airtime, mate, you know that. So just in with Jim Flynn with Cannon on his wheel at the moment. Then it looks like McLeod just behind. So Cannon and Flynn at the moment likely to be our next finishers. 39 seconds behind is James McLeod. McLeod in that green and yellow jersey. 43 seconds back, it is that massed group of riders who are in there. And Mike, yeah, you've got to go through around the loop and back the other way to get the full distance in, I'm afraid. So Andy Hall's definitely right with his distances and timings on his way round, out to the archway, round the turn and back in again. So Mike Killingsworth putting some pressure on there, but still plenty of distance to go. Meanwhile, it's Flynn up on the front. So Flynn and Co on the way in. Let's see if we can catch up with our beacon. That is Russ down in. Russ is probably trying to get the legs calmed down with some soothing balm from Velaskin. How are you doing, Russ?
I was a crap impression. That was just me making horrible noise and stuff. I'm in a world of pain.
I bet you are, mate. That looked pretty fast, it has to be said, and really aggressive. Great to see all those attacks.
Yeah, just throwing some wattage bombs in there, and it just throw some spanners in the works, call it what you want. But yeah, that was great fun. The last 10-15k, everyone just sticking each other, and Paul Whitelaw was upset that we attacked him, but he won't take a fast match to the finish, and you try and make it hard for him, and we had a bit of laugh doing so. But yeah, it was good fun. He put some good sprinkles on his 99. It's flying tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And we're just watching Jim Flynn take the sprint there from Cannon. Two riders who've improved. Jim Flynn improving all the time. And currently at least a minute and a half in front of the Red Beacon group. He's definitely improving every week. Got a little bit of a gap here on McLeod. So that Red Beacon group, it's a lot of riders in that group working well together, but still one or two people in the middle.
Yeah, Andy, he loves it, you know. He just keeps rolling over. It's like, oh, Andy Hawes is just the Red Beacon every Thursday now. Sorry about it, Andy. Some admin error on the old emails, but yeah, it was good. You know, it's probably fancied a cruiser one.
Yeah, I'm sure he enjoyed it on the way through, and we're going to let you get some recovery done, because that was a pretty brutal Chaingang finish. I'm looking forward to the comments on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I might have to get my glasses on to read them. Obviously, I've got stars of eyes, I think, on there. About a minute 30 left to do an hour and a half plus my warm up and warm down, so yeah, I'm all in, mate.
I'm not surprised. Cheers, Russ. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Well done, guys. Well done, everyone.
So great to hear from Russ there as James McLeod goes in and through the finish line. Just a warm down to do. Question is going to be, more importantly, who is going to take it out of this big bunch of riders in for the sprint here. Massive sprint coming in. Remember, Mike Killingsworth has been wanting this. He's been trying to go for all sorts of banners here, but it looks to me like Phillips is just going to get it. Phillips from Horse, then Killingsworth on the way through. Crehan, Bolt, Hopkinson, Raccoon, Cookie, and then Ridley going through to the finish. So a massive thank you to our guys who have been our two up Red Beacon there, basically. That's Mike Killingsworth and Andy Hawes together. Both of them having to work together because Mike, of course, our volunteer Red Beacon, and of course Andy Hawes, the man who had it stuck over his head whether he liked it or not. So don't forget, guys, if you have enjoyed tonight, if you enjoyed the ride, if you enjoyed the coverage, then please make sure you join the DCG gang. It's your way of donating to help us keep the show on the road. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have a drinks with Dean Downing, the head coach of Downing Cycling, of course, former national champion, part of Downing Cycling, and we've still got lots more to come. We've got loads of great discounts. We've got a great giveaway coming up at the end of the Giro, 2 weeks time. You didn't hear it from me. I've been sworn to secrecy. It is top secret, but when it comes out, it's something everybody's going to want to be in on. So make sure you get your membership in for the DCG gang. You can find the links on the Donny Chaingang web pages. You can find the links on the Facebook pages, and don't forget, on the Facebook pages you've got some discounts on there as well. Well done to everybody riding tonight. If you don't see you before, then make sure you have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we will catch up with you next week on the Donny Chaingang.